Hello, welcome back. I know it's been a little bit. I've got a little bit of a new setup. You see me looking off screen right now like I am. That's because I'm looking over at the computer screen. Sure, I'll get away from that habit except for the start and ending of videos. I've got new equipment. I'm looking right now into a new camera. It's pretty cheap. I might even be, you can tell, a little bit blurry. Probably the frame rate's not great. The focus in and out, not awesome. Better than my webcam I had. And then I've got a microphone, which is off camera. It actually looks pretty awesome. It's not. It's cheap, um, but it's better than the setup that I had. Uh, so little by little, trying to focus a little bit into this channel, trying to get around to making more videos. This is video number 5. I don't know if I'll ever get to the daily videos like I had one time hoped. Maybe one day, we'll see. However, we definitely have a lot to talk about since we last talked. So today is February 11th, 2025. I think the last time that I made a video, I ended on, it wasn't, January 21st wasn't the day I did it, but it might have been about January 21st or 22nd was the events that I had spoken the most of, like, because I was going in order. So, definitely lots happened since then. We've seen what Steve Bannon, who I've got news on him. Steve Bannon, he said to, not verbatim, I'm quoting him, flood the zone with shit, muzzle velocity. That was the whole goal of this Trump administration. Steve Bannon was the top advisor for Donald Trump during his first term in the beginning. And according to Bannon, he thinks it's best to overwhelm the opposition by, in his words, releasing at muzzle velocity, at immense speed, just order after order after order, just overwhelm them, flood the zone, is what he says, with so much that you're gonna push everything through. Your opponent's gonna be overwhelmed. They're gonna be confused. They're not gonna know what to. They're not gonna know what to do. This has been a presidency that was expected to be full of shock and awe, and it has not failed to deliver on that promise. Other than immigration, that is the only promise that has not been broken so far. We're still at war. Excuse me, I apologize. Russia and Ukraine are still at war. That was supposed to end on day 1. It's supposed to end on day 1 of him winning the nomination, actually, back on November 6th. That's what he said with the phone call. That's still going on. He said, even though this is unrealistic as possible, I'm still going to hold him on his word because he said he would. He said that day 1 he would bring down grocery prices fast. I'm not seeing any grocery prices go down whatsoever. In fact, I'm kind of seeing them creep up a little bit. Gas prices are creeping up. Doesn't make any sense. We have the Gulf of America, officially. No, I have no response. So we'll just move on from that. There have been 8 injunctions by federal courts stepping in to block Trump's executive orders that he's been passing that have either been illegal, unconstitutional, or both. The most recent one I can think of is pertaining to the USAID. In fact, maybe the Treasury purge was actually following that, but regardless, if it weren't for the federal courts right now, Trump would be effectively ruling as a dictator or a king, and that's no exaggeration. He is having total disregard for laws. He has a total MAGA Congress. He has MAGA House, MAGA Senate, and he is able to push through whatever he wants. He can work with them and do the exact same things he's doing now, and it would end up being legal. However, Congress has the power of the purse, so stepping into USAID and eliminating the department entirely, firing workers, and taking the congressionally allocated funds that they agreed upon, that was under their purview, they have the power of the purse, that's unconstitutional. That's not the executive branch's call. The USAID was established via executive order of John F. Kennedy, but it was enshrined in legislation in 1998. And so it is the total purview of the Congress to have decisions on its budget, whether or not it's used, what it's used for. I find it, I would say hilarious, except this stuff's not funny anymore, that a $20 million expense is where we did, I guess, Sesame Street in Afghanistan, which is like we've been annihilating them for 30 years. We could do like something. Do I think that was the best thing? No, absolutely not. Do I think it's a bad thing? No, I don't. It's a cultural piece. Last I checked, I've got a daughter. We watch plenty of Sesame Street. We watch plenty of Miss Rachel. These I find value in somewhat. I'm not going to try to sit here and pretend like these are just fantastic things that we have to spend money on. I'm not. I'm being real with you. However, $20 million was the biggest bulky, junky expense that I saw come out of a $43 billion budget. They combed out, and by they, I don't like when people say they, and it's just like some mysterious figure. Elon Musk, Levitt, the press secretary, God bless her soul, just several MAGA people pointed out expenses of like $35,000, $20,000, $15,000, $10,000, and just Levitt with her, and the woke, and she's getting all aggressive, and it's like, you mean to tell me that we're cheering about cutting a $15,000 expense out of a $43 billion budget? That's about 0.00001% of the budget. That's efficiency? Really? You don't mind trampling over the Constitution, destroying congressionally allocated funds purpose, destroying the purpose of the budget, stepping in and sending 19-year-olds, and this one's actually in the Treasury. However, it's still relevant that we're entrusting all these processes to be done by 19-year-olds nicknamed Big Balls who leaked company secrets at their previous company. Like, what? And that guy's in the Treasury. No longer is. That was injunction either 7 or 8, I'm not sure, where they were told to get out of the Treasury, get your grubby paws off, and to purge the data, delete the data. You mean to tell me that you actually are confident that Big Balls who leak company secrets actually deleted the data? No, I'm not. This is our America. This is what 49.8% of the voters that voted on November 5th voted for. No, it's not. It's not what they voted for. That's what I'm trying to get at. They voted for lower grocery prices. They voted for immigration. They voted for no wars. They voted for so many things that are not being even remotely addressed, not being spoken of. The president said that he thinks it's almost impossible to bring down prices. You said that that was going to be done on day one. Just like you said the war was going to be over. You're talking about going to the Gaza Strip. I need to focus on that one for a second. What? And I've got an even better one to top this one afterwards, pertaining to Greenland, that was breaking news today. So you mean to tell me you want to displace almost 2 million Palestinians who have been fighting for a right to live in that land for, I don't know, thousands of years with the Israelites, the Israelis. But that's the thing, Israelites, this is how long this stuff goes back. They're staking the claim to, it's essentially Holy Land. It's essentially land that is that each views as rightfully their own. A two-state solution was supposed to be the solution. If I'm not mistaken, it was like cemented in stone in 1950s. And I guess we don't really care about treaties. We don't care about, is it the Budapest Memorandum of 1995 that we signed with Russia and Ukraine, promising that in return for Ukraine giving up their nuclear capabilities that we would defend them no matter what? We don't care about stuff like that, clearly. Russia never did, but that's kind of up to us to do what Russia's not. But now we're just being just like our biggest enemy and saying, we don't have any kind of recognition to this treaty that we signed. You gave up your nuclear capabilities. Ah, psych, gotcha. We're not defending you anymore. Just like that. And even like in the big scheme of things, 30 years is not that long to just drop a treaty. Especially whenever it pertains to your greatest enemy attacking one of your allies. One of your supposed allies, I thought, So, and Greenland. Like, excuse me, displace all the Palestinians and build the Riviera, as he calls it. I don't know. Like, let's have another example. Build Dubai there. You mean to tell me that Biden and the left got blasted by MAGA for sending taxpayer dollars overseas to defend an enemy and like beat down Russia? That's bad, right? But it's okay to displace almost 2 million Palestinians and build essentially what is going to be a several $100 billion project in Gaza. And by the way, those Palestinians can't come back. That's what Trump said. He said he named several countries, including Jordan and Egypt, that he said, "Oh, I'm positive that they will take these Palestinians in as refugees." And then those two countries came out and said, "No, we're not." And he's like, "I bet they will." That's what he said in an interview. Get real. I talk with people on Facebook, and I talk to people on Facebook. I feel like the same way I'm talking right now. Stern, with emotion, but with reason and logic, and able to break down and give substance and defend my points. And you would not believe the people my age in their 30s that are like, haha, cry more. like that would have really gotten me in the 6th grade. Now it's just like kind of sad because I still feel like I'm talking to a 6th grader. And I don't even bother with it because it's like, what's the point? But that's where we're at now. Trolling the libs, owning the libs, is we're having all these things that I'm talking about go on right now. Nobody gives a damn. The only people care about is winning elections. They don't care about policy. They don't care about things getting better. You can tell some of these people don't have any families. And I know some people I'm talking about. I'm sorry to be that way. I don't mean to sound all petty. I've got my own crap I deal with. I've got my own flaws. But I can tell some of these people don't have families. When they sit there and are just like, ha ha ha, cry harder. It's like, dude, you go home alone every single night. You have nobody to care for. You have nobody to look out for. Like, I'm not shocked, honestly, that you have no empathy whatsoever for others. Like, that's... And it's not on me to teach you that at this point. So, I am not going to try to pretend to be the perfect person in white gloved. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like we can't talk about these things. It's taboo to talk about doing what's right. In days like this, it's time to speak up and say, okay, time to stop acting like a petulant, childish incel. Time to start having some real discussions that are going to fix our $36 trillion debt. Fix our grocery prices that we got promised would be fixed on day one that haven't been. Either defend our allies or figure out some kind of plan. Figure out something. Have some kind of answers. Instead, we're being distracted by the stuff like Gaza, the Gulf of America. What a joke. And what happened today with Greenland. There was an Alabama congressman. I think it was somebody from the House. He introduced a bill that would allow the government to purchase Greenland and name it Red, White, and Blueland. Red, White, and Blueland. Idiocracy the movie. What are we doing? We're paying these people $160K a year to do that? Really? I don't want to sound cringy, but I don't know how there's not a blue wave. And I know I'd sound so cringy, this is not the right time. But I don't know how you don't see blue wave in the midterms, but then again, I can't be shocked with what's going on with these people anymore. Like, I'm numb to what happens going on around me. And just the total nothing registers with these people. It's just, you don't leave the cult. If you leave the cult, you're ousted, you're done. You're hated. You receive a bunch of flack. You are out. And the problem is, a lot of these people that want to get out don't have anywhere to go because they don't want to go join the left. They don't want to go join the libs. So they need to have a home somewhere, right? I can't even begin to explain, like, how are we at a point in our democracy? How do you go from having Bill Clinton, who was the last president to have a budget surplus, to having George W. Bush, with whether or not I agree with him or not, lead our country through times like 9/11 and be somebody who united the people, regardless of whether or not you agree with his policy. He was a fantastic uniter of people. And then you go to Barack Obama, and whether it was his victory speech or the inauguration speech, both of them dealing with this is the American dream, this is all of our years of progress, and you just elected some black guy with a weird name, some funny looking guy with a weird name. It's my kitty cat, by the way. I love his name is Simon. Hey Simon. Simon. Yeah, you. How do we go from all that just yesterday in the scheme of the big scheme of things, just yesterday, to Donald Trump the first time, which I can forgive people for doing that. I was a fan of him the first time. I thought he was going to shake things up, and he shook things up, not at all the way that I wanted him to. And this time it's like Donald Trump's first term 7.0. I don't know how in the people, like the same people that were alive in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s voting for Obama in a totally different culture of America, or were the same people voting for, like there were going to be many Trump supporters out there that also had at least voted Obama or had been there and voted for somebody like John McCain, who is a really good man. John McCain is, in my opinion, the last I don't know what to say, the last Republican candidate that I've seen that was somebody who I would, it's like that Democratic candidate better be really good for me to not vote for a guy like John McCain. Like, I don't know what to say. The Republican Party's dead. MAGA is alive and well, like thriving. I look around and I see, and I would think that Trump's approval rating starts to dip with all this nonsense I'm seeing. These not, whether it's Elon making up fake, like going into the budget and saying we're sending $50 million in condoms to Hamas, which was totally false. Sending in people that have leaked company secrets. You have all this stuff going on, none of it pertaining to improving the everyday life of Americans, like grocery prices. And his supporters just march on. And so, I'm kind of at a place where, in 2018, we did see a blue wave because, at least I think, people were fed up. Clearly not. Or they were, and America just has the memory of a goldfish. Or America just does not care about anything except for itself. The individuals is very individualistic, and so it's going to be ebbing and flowing depending on how things are going for you individually. Which, that makes sense a little bit, but it's also very frustrating to not have empathy and understand for others. Like, I've done this, I've said this before in one of my other videos, but how, even if you're like, okay, there's only male and female, that's it. How evil is it for the top level of government to say that is it? Only males, only females. Every trans person out there, their identity is like, see ya. Like, how can you treat your own people like that, your own citizens like that? That's just incredibly dehumanizing. And whether or not you agree with their ideology doesn't mean you should disregard their humanity, like their dignity. It's wild. We have all of a sudden 330 million mental health experts in America who are called out as mental illness. And like, I don't know anything, man. I don't care. I don't care what you got going on in your pants. I don't care what you want to go by. Just tell me and I'll call you it. Just like, I'm going to meet you. You tell me your name. I'm going to call you your name. Like, it's not hard. But honestly, to me, it's not even an issue. I don't care about it. I just don't treat people like dirtbags. Like, treat people how they should be treated. But we are having so much focus on trans issues, culture wars, and gas is going up at the pump. It's cliche to me, if I'm being real, to talk about egg prices going up because we have the avian flu. Context matters to me. I can't stand when MAGA supporters give unbelievable amounts of context-less rhetoric. So I don't like talking about rising egg prices because it's not really. But like none of the grocery prices are going. None of them. In fact, they're literally creeping up slowly. I've got a spreadsheet that's going to be tracking everything. I'm going to be letting you know how that goes. I started it on January 22nd. I'm going to be doing it monthly, so here coming up on the 22nd, we will have a readout. So, and you know, to circle back, you're going to find something on this channel. I like to really bounce around. If this channel starts to ever, you know, get a little bit more attention and get to the point where I feel obligated to, you know, really keep it up and keep it professional, I'll probably be more organized and have, you know, actual layouts. But kind of just circle back around, since I'm jumping around, to the very beginning of the video when I talked about Steve Bannon and how he's in trouble. And that's because he engaged in fraud, where he took money of people that were pooling money to build. I think this was a privately funded border wall. He just took the money and cashed it. He ran. This is the people that Trump works with. And by the way, he was indicted on that today. He's either indicted or convicted guilty. I'm not gonna lie. I was just going through that clip quick. I feel like there's so much stuff to go on to keep up with. It gets kind of difficult sometimes. But this is the people that Trump works with. Totally vile, corrupt, evil men. Matt Gaetz is an evil man. Steve Bannon is an evil man. He wants to just push ideology regardless of the damage it causes. People that have ideology that are willing to engage it and not care about the effects that it has on a lot of people, and sometimes a majority of people, I just don't get it. Like, I mean, you're funded by money, or that's, you know, you're totally driven by money. So I guess I kind of can get it, but you know, there's just so much going on. So it's you know, I've been hearing some good advice. Find 2 or 3 things happening at a time that you're really passionate about, that you have maybe even a background in, but you know, that you're passionate about and you want to talk about. Pick those and focus on those. I'm gonna try to focus on just about everything, because I feel like at least the role that I chose is to kind of just break news. Obviously, I spin it with an agenda, 100%. I'm not gonna lie about that. However, I sleep like a baby at night, with knowing that it's all based on facts, and the agendas to me are just my version of, this is common sense, you know. If it's warm outside tomorrow, we should go play ball. Like, it's warm, or rather, I guess I should say, it's warm outside, so let's go play ball. That kind of thing. Like, I'm going to break the facts. I'm going to try to keep it to the facts. It's warm outside. Let's keep it on the facts. Obviously, that's funny because it's kind of an opinion to say it's warm, because it's, but whatever, you understand. I'm going to try to break news and based on my worldviews of trying to, you know, I want to help other people. I don't want to sound all white gloved and standing up on my pedestal, because I've caused so much damage before to family and friends. I'm not a perfect person. I've made plenty of mistakes. I made plenty of family mistakes that I'm very disappointed in. You know, and maybe perhaps through just living life and making some mistakes, it's kind of like, you know, I have experienced feelings that result from things I do. And, you know, what does that tell me? How do I respond? And, you know, it's so funny. We, first of all, should just stop fighting. America. We should stop fighting when it comes to politics. Unless it's extreme issues like blatant racism. Like, I'm not cutting that. Or violence. I ain't cutting that. But it's like the idea of MAGA being upset with the left. Like for me, for example, it's like, why are you upset with? I literally am trying to help you. I want you to have Social Security and Medicare, retirement benefits. I want you to be able to have expanded tax credits. You know, I want you to be able to go to the grocery store and have an administration that is focused on you and lowering prices, versus this current administration that's more focused on glory. There's no benefit there. I literally can't think of a single thing that has benefited the average American citizen. Like, I'm still waiting. So, just through all that and through me just jumping around, just like I like to do, I apologize. I have undiagnosed ADHD. This is how I'm gonna do the channel. That's episode number 5. I got my new gear. I'm excited about it. It ain't great. It's gonna get me through for a while. Maybe the last gear I ever get. I hope not. I hope this channel goes well. But regardless, thank you for listening today. Keep your head up. Surely at some point, surely, just like Father Time is undefeated, common sense over the longevity of all of humankind, all time. I don't even know what I'm saying. Hey, I hope you have a great night. Just keep going, man. Don't give up. Like, this is madness. We're all feeling a little bit Looney Tunes. Focus. Take a deep breath. We're going to get through this. Until the next video, I really appreciate you joining in. I hope you have a good night. Have a good day tomorrow. Odd one out.